All right, man. So we'll move from that feel good and a little bit to unfortunate situations that have happened up in Evanston, Illinois, with Northwestern, firing the head coach of the football team as well as the baseball team due to the hazing culture that is going on there or has gone on there. Sticks, what's up? What's your thoughts on all of this and everything that's transpired?
Man, being an ex football player, man, and being in a college, in a high school, a college, and a professional locker room, the stuff that they were talking about in this report, bro, I have never seen with my own two eyes and have never heard of until this week, bro. Because for those of y'all didn't know, a former Northwestern University football player told the Daily, which is the newspaper in Illinois, some of the hazing conduct that was investigated by the university involving coerced sexual acts. And a second player came back and confirmed that these things were going on, which led to the firing of the football coach, first of all. And then secondly, the baseball team, because they were using some of the same practices apparently that the football team was using. But it's bruh. The fact that, because I was watching one of the pages that I watch on YouTube is this dude Flimlo Raps, and he talks about a lot of sports. He does a lot of sports reporting, and he was talking about this. And Pat Fitzgerald was a god at Northwestern. He played there. He led them to some of the best records whenever he was playing there in the early to mid 90s, and he got the coaching job, and he's been there. He's a tenured guy within Northwestern altogether, from a player to now a coach. And he said something, is that whenever you wear the crown to the kingdom, you have to be ready to protect that kingdom.
100%. Heavy is the head that carries the crown.
100%. So for him to carry this facade to the public that, this is a family culture, and where, it's one guy leads another guy, and everything was positive and rah whenever he's in front of the media, but behind closed doors, he's actually leading. He's not around when these things are happening from the report, but he has signals and things that he does whenever like an underclassman would do something wrong, for them to be put on a board for something called running and something called the Shrek line, which is two really weird things. I don't know if you read those two things. Did you read them, D-Lo?
Yeah, I did read them. That's crazy.
It's crazy because like,
but not to stop you, I got a question. So you said he would signal?
Yeah. So he had this thing called the Shrek clap that he would do in practice, where somebody messed up and he would do this, right? And that means that, and I don't know, the Shrek line is, you want to know what it is, bro?
I saw what running was.
Running is weird.
I didn't see what Shrek was. Please inform me if you can.
So the Shrek, and I'll let the line let y'all know what running is, unless you want me to talk about it too. But
I can talk about that. Yeah.
So the Shrek line is you got the hallway to the shower, right?
Yeah.
And you got all of your big fat heavy dudes, your offensive linemen, lined up to the hallway of the shower, bucket naked. And in order to get to the shower, if you're gonna take a shower, you got to walk through that line of big dudes while they, that. So that's what the Shrek line is. And then you can let them know what running is, because that's weird too.
So wait a minute. So you read that the coach, Pat Fitzgerald, was orchestrating that. Mm-hmm. That is outrageous. I didn't read that. I did research and read the fact that, as you mentioned, the player that came out said everything he said about the sexual coercions of hazing culture that was happening at Northwestern, and that Pat Fitzgerald, the coach at the time, may have known, but everything I read did not say anything about him, like basically setting up. Setting up.
Like he wouldn't be there for the actual quote unquote punishments, but he obviously was telling the upperclassmen basically with different gestures and signals what they were doing, or because you think about it, I'm gonna let D-Lo go and explain what the running was, but us
This was
being
mafia
athletes,
culture, basically.
100%, it's like a cult
He
culture
was,
for real, yeah. And like me and D-Lo are well, we still football players in spirit, but we're actual football players. We've been on the field and we ain't been on the field in a while. But
right.
whenever the coach say you're gonna be running, what does that mean to you, D-Lo?
Well, it means that you're gonna be running up and down the field, rolling,
gassers or something,
gassers, whatever, just running, getting that extra work, things that you hate to do after practice. After you had a hard practice, then you have to, do these things in order to get off of the naughty list, so to speak, the punishment list. But
running was a little bit different in Northwestern.
Yeah. Running was way different at Northwestern. Running was what I'm trying to figure out how to say this without saying it. Running in Northwestern terms was what a lot of the adult sites have going on when they have multiple guys and one girl.
You want me to read it?
No, I can read it. So basically what running was you had upperclassmen that were dressed in various masks, like purge masks. They would take underclassmen into a room that was dark and they would dry hump them. I mean,
it's
the thing about hazing. And the reason that I'm shocked at the fact that you have said that he was orchestrating this because, yes, do coaches know that some type of hazing goes on in college? Because hazing is really, it's a whole collegiate thing, not just sports. Sororities and fraternities have their hazing issues as well. So, we don't want to make this as it's just a sports thing, because it definitely is not. It's a whole college experience thing that goes on with hazing. But for a coach to, and for it to be implied that a coach is orchestrating these type of hazing activities, is flabbergasting. And like I was about to say, or started to say, like, yes, coaches know sometimes that hazing activities happen, but it's not really much that they can do if it's widespread, unless they're going to get rid of their team. And what coach do we know that's going to get rid of their entire team or more than half of their team, especially at a school like Northwestern, which I'm not saying Northwestern is a bad school, but it's not a top tier football. I mean,
they were 1-11 last year, so like,
they're not a top tier football school by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, they have their years where they're really good, they compete, but they're still not, on par with the Alabamas, the Floridas, the Ohio States of the world. So, I mean, they're much like my school, Wake Forest, a little bit bigger than Wake Forest, but, when it comes to football, we've been pretty good at football here lately. And then when I was there, we were good, but we go through our stretches where we're not good. So for a school like that to say, oh yeah, well, we'll just get rid of half of the roster and rebuild. Nah.
They're not doing that,
yeah. So, I mean, for him to know about it though is just, I don't even know how to discuss that, because I wasn't ready to discuss that. Now I have so many questions in my mind right now. Like, what in the world?
It's so crazy, man, because, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like, a little subtle hazing things happen. Like when I was an underclassman, they made me carry all the shoulder pads, or they made me, pick up the trash after practice that was left on the field. Or
this is far beyond that, though.
But this is well far beyond that. And the way I feel about this type of hazing is that as an individual, if I put myself in this situation, I'm fighting for my life. I'm out there like, R. Kelly, you killing me with this. I'm out there I'm fighting everybody. You're not doing this to me, bro. Like, I don't care if coach kicked me off the team. I'm beating everybody down in this locker room if you touch me. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, and that's probably why, like, I didn't go through, and I'm not saying this is what happened on North Carolina Central University's campus, but whenever you would hear stories about hazing, whenever it comes to like fraternities and things of that nature,
sororities, yeah,
and fraternities and sororities, and that's one of the main reasons why I didn't go through with that process, because I know who I am. I know me as a person. So like if that was the case and that was presented to me, all I know is somebody getting their ass beat. Period.
right.
Regardless,
Right.
I don't care. Like you're not doing this. I don't want this enough to allow you to do this to me. Period. There's got to
Especially
be
when you
some
talk
type of
about
self-respect.
the sexual acts. That's the part
Facts.
that's like, I mean, because like you
Facts.
said, there is some type of hazing. We all experience hazing, even in our adult
Yeah.
life. We've talked about hazing before, going off the deep end when we talked about New Mexico State.
Mm-hmm.
Extravaganza.
Extravaganza is a crazy word.
But we've all experienced hazing.
Yeah.
When you apply for a job or when you get a job, those first 90 days you're on probation. It's not like extreme hazing, but that's a form of hazing. You're going through and proving that you want to be there. You can't take any days off unless it's been pre-approved, but stuff like that. That's a form of hazing.
100%.
So I mean, hazing is just we all go through it. And I want to say the reason that I said that it's a college experience when it's talking about hazing is because the NCAA reported that 74% of student athletes have experienced some form of hazing, but then also 73% of sororities and fraternities experience hazing. Fraternity members experience hazing. So it's definitely a college experience. Not everybody plays football or plays a sport in college. Not everybody joins a sorority or fraternity, but a good portion of individuals that attend universities are a part of either or they want to be a part of one of the two. So it's very much a college experience.
And man, and you can even look at it this way too, because if you watched Last Dance, you saw how Charles Oakley was treating Scottie Pippen when he first got to the team. So that's a little bit of a form of hazing, dumping water on them, slapping them all in the face, doing silly shit like that. So I mean, it definitely happens. Like and just like D-Lo said, in the corporate world too, the 90-day probation thing. So like hazing happens in all different aspects of life. It's just like in college, it happens to a more of an alarming rate. And 75% is a lot, dog. That's 3 out of 4 people.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, or 3 out of 4 athletes, or 3 out of 4, Greek members. So it's like, that's crazy. But this stuff right here though, like Shrek line and running and runs giving, like, yo. And they had it all listed on a whiteboard in the locker room too. Like they would put people's names on the whiteboard. Like, bruh.
Oh, so if that's the case, then he might not have. I'm trying to, because I also briefly coached, and I know a lot of stuff that we did to kind of protect our kids from themselves, and making sure that we practice at a certain time, or that we make the schedule so the fit that they don't have a lot of time to get into any type of trouble.
Right.
So I'm trying in my mind to say it's him orchestrating this is just crazy. And coaches spend so much time in the locker room. I'm trying to protect him a little bit, but if he's out there orchestrating it, you can't protect him. But if he goes in the locker room and sees names on a board and he sees certain things, he might not be able to decipher what it is. But if you see it for so long,
you're gonna ask the question at least.
You're gonna ask questions.
You're gonna inquire. Like, like what does this
mean?
What is running? Yeah. What is the Shrek line? What is Shrek list? Yeah. What is this?
And again, coaches are an extension of, supposed to be anyway. They're supposed to be an extension of parenting, and so when you ask your kids certain things and they act funny, that's when you dig in even deeper. So 100%. If he goes into the locker room, sees something, questions the players, and then questions the players, and they start to act funny and not really answer, give him a beat around the bush, that's when you like, okay, you're not going to answer, but that's all right. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to ask everybody. Somebody's going to tell me what this is. Or I'm going to ask one of the trainers or one of the equipment guys, because they're in the locker. Usually the equipment room, the trainers, they're attached to the locker room as well. They see some of that.
They
So
see it. They
now
probably
you
hear
say,
people talking about it.
now you say that, and I'm piecing it all together. I'm talking it out. Dang, this man was orchestrating that stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, you got to know, and especially like it's like they were saying it was a very abrasive and barbaric culture that permeated throughout the program for years, bro,
That's crazy.
years. And for this to happen, bro, like if and especially with him orchestrating all of this, he deserved to be fired. But then wanted to come out and make a public announcement that he was unlawfully or like he should have been fired, basically. Like, bruh, there's no
Yeah.
way that you believe this. There's no way that you saying this, bro. Like, how do you expect to this goes back to like the Joe Paterno thing. Like, bro, like he got fired and you know what I'm saying? And if you're doing the same type of stuff, so to speak, then of course you're gonna get fired, bro. There's no leeway for this, especially whenever you're talking about, and I know these guys are men, they're in college now, but when you're talking about kids though, and this is like, and they're still technically kids, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. Once you get to 21, you're a little bit older, but like, bruh, there's no way that you can sit here and say that he didn't deserve to be fired, because if this stuff is really going on, and they were actually like talking about other like more extreme sexual acts that would happen as well to these kids. So it's like, nah, dog, you gotta go, bro. You had to go.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Especially when you bring up the Joe Paterno issues and all of that and think about it. I'm gonna have to look more into I'm gonna have to look more into
dig
that
a little
now.
bit deeper into it, man, because
That's crazy.
it's a little bit deeper than you think, bro. It's deeper than rap.
It's deeper than rap.
It's deeper than rap, bro. But thank you for watching this video. If you've made it this far, there's a video on the screen right here. Go ahead and click on that. I think you're going to love it. And also, you can find us on all your major streaming platforms, wherever you find your podcasts.